Is there a variant, again, without ruining anything in this film, we do see some variants, I think we can say that. Is there a variant that you already have enjoyed playing the most, or one that you're already eyeing playing?
No, I don't want to hurt any of the variants' feelings, you know?
It's so sweet to your own characters.
Right now, we're getting Kang the Conqueror off to school. We're getting him out the house. Okay. So that's where my focus is.
Have you appealed for any of the variants, maybe, to not be religious about going to the gym, so that you yourself could take a day off? I'm just looking out for you.
Thank you. I've not appealed to any of them, but we'll see. You know, if someone shows up and goes, I'm not into it, I'll say, okay, yeah, as you wish. Kang got a Kang. Whatever the Kang wants, the Kang gets.
Kang got a Kang.
Yeah.
Mr. Jonathan Majors, it's always good to see you, man. Congratulations on this. I can see in your eyes, you have the Quantumania. You're feeling it today,
oh man, what's the alternative? Not feeling it?
You gotta embrace it, right?
Yeah, you gotta ride the dragon till you become the dragon.
All right, so talk to me a little bit about, look, tackling a role like this. For a lot of actors, a lot of human beings, they grow up dreaming of being superheroes, supervillains, you know, make-believe. If I knew Jonathan Majors as a kid, like, are there childhood photos of you running around as a superhero? Did you do that kind of thing? Were you into it?
There are so many photos of that. I'm sure my mom has them handy. Like, she'd be like, yeah, this one or this one? Yeah, I was obsessed with superheroes. So I consider those superheroes.
Sure.
Power Rangers, superheroes. X-Men, superheroes. Loved Gambit growing up, really loved Gambit. Loved Batman, dressed up as Batman, and stayed dressed up as Batman for years. There's a story about that, I'll tell you later. Yeah, man, the superhero element is something I was really involved in growing up. G.I. Joe's also superheroes. Yeah.
A Marvel or DC guy, or were you equal opportunity?
Oh man, I was in the land of milk and honey. You know, there were no border. I lived in a borderless childhood where I didn't separate the camps. You know what I mean?
Good for you, yeah.
Yeah, there were no lawyers in my brain. You know, it was like, it was all good.
Let's talk about the beginnings of you taking this character on, these characters on, I should say. Look, you made your introduction in Loki. When they come around, and from what I gather, there's no audition. They come to you and they say, are you interested? In a way, do you want to audition for something like this? Do you want to prove to yourself, like, I've got this in me? Or is that a vote of confidence? And is that kind of enough to make you excited and up to the challenge?
Well, it's deep, and not to, you know, reframe history, but no, I didn't audition. But you do audition sometimes for these MCU roles. Robert Downey Jr. Famously had to audition for Iron Man, you know,
sure.
And his screen test is incredible. But no, I didn't. That was not my route here. Mine was a very gentle, very clear, and very honest proposal, you know, to potentially step in and help out, you know, any way I could, and that was exciting. But that itch to say, should I audition, you know, that's something I feel all the time. There's a weird transition in one's career when you no longer, where it's not commonplace. You can always audition, but it's not commonplace to audition. And this was the thing, you know, this is a crown jewel. You know what I mean? There's multiple crown jewels in the crown, right? But this is a crown jewel of the entertainment industry, you know, to be asked to join the MCU. So yeah, there is a part where you go, I want to audition, I want to show that I can, but yet the way it was presented to me, it felt like they already knew what it was, you know? And also there's a part in our careers where you have to then stop going from me for me. When I take that energy of I'm gonna prove it to you, and I focus that on, I'm going to collaborate with you, my collaboration is stronger. Sometimes an audition can feel like competition with the auditor, you know what I mean? Especially for someone with my psychology and breakdown. I'll be honest, I'm an athlete, you know what I mean? And a kid that came from, you know, the streets. So, you know, that's how my brain works. I have come to realize, you know, in the past few years, that competition is contrary, right, to creativity.
Sure.
And the way they began it, it felt like a real collaboration, which is why I think we've garnered and have given, you know, via the MCU so much creativity and so much characterization in these guys.
Let's talk a little bit about Kang. Kang the Conqueror, full name. I don't know, do his friends call him Kang? Do they call him KTC? Like, does he have friends?
No, they call him the Conqueror. Him. He is him.
That sets a certain power dynamic in a relationship when your friends call you the Conqueror.
Yeah, the Conqueror, yes.
How do you create a backstory? How do you flesh out a character when it's a character that has lived thousands, millions of lives. That seems like quite an undertaking. Is the process much different than it would be for any other character?
I think the sources are different, and again, you have to have certain patience. I have to have a certain patience with myself because you can't cram every day for 2 years. Something about the size of Kang, right? The size of the MCU altogether, but specifically Kang, how his brain works, where he comes from, when he comes from. It's a bit of a mind game, and you have to just kind of open up and go, okay, cool. Everything goes, but what goes now, right? What goes now? And so you take it from the name, Mr. K, KTC, whatever. But what we do understand is the conquering element. That is something that we understand socially, right? And so my research was, first and foremost, every comic book that even mentioned him, or any of his variants. And then there's, the conquering element where you look at, okay, Alexander the Great, you look at Genghis Khan, you look at Cleopatra, you look at then the leadership elements of it. He's also a leader. I can look at anybody, right? You can look at Stalin, you can look at Martin Luther King, that charismatic cult leader, because he also has that quality. You know what I mean? Who do you look at then? You can look at pastors and ministers, so all of that's there. So yeah, I'm taking it all in. I'm still doing research for Kang.
Do you also include Thanos in that realm? Because you want to contrast, obviously. You don't want to play the same notes that the great Josh Brolin did.
Right.
Do you have to look at that and feel like, okay, where's my lane? How do I differentiate?
Thanos is such an interesting touching point because he was the next step of the lineage of the MCU villain, right? You've got Ultron, you've got Loki, you've got Thanos. We are all connected, you know what I mean? And as the phases move through, as do the villains. As the phases become more and more concentrated, they peak and fall, they ebb and flow. The villain is necessary for the phase. And so, yes, I don't want to repeat anything that Thanos or the incredibly brilliant Josh Brolin did. And yet, I trust that my instrument and where the whole MCU is, we've already checked those boxes, and we're looking for the new frontier. And you want it to be entertaining, you want it to be new, you don't want to be compared, if there's too much likeness. If I start comparing myself, it will show up in the work. So I respected his process, respected his character, but I knew I was here to do my own thing, yeah.
So I know from our past conversations, you're not necessarily the guy that likes to watch his own work. You just, a couple days ago, had a ginormous world premiere for this movie.
Yeah.
Did you watch it, Jonathan? Have you seen the movie?
I have not seen the movie. I love the movie.
I'm so disappointed in you.
I'm so sorry, Papa. I
Look, here's my argument. Can I make my argument?
Please.
Because especially in something like this, as you well know, the artists that bring so much after the fact. I mean, you made one movie, they made another movie.
Yeah.
And it's the marriage of it all. Don't you want to see what happened, what it turned into?
Well, here's the thing. I understand that I have an unconditional love for all my collaborators. And if a collaborator told me, I don't want to watch him do it, right? I don't want to watch him do it, but once he does it, I'll put all the special effects in. I'm not going to take offense to that.
Right.
Especially if I knew you loved the project and you loved your collaborators. And specifically in the Kang Matrix, it's important for me because we can't help but be impacted by it, right? Imagine, I've done the movie. But then I watch and go, oh, you picked that take? That then limits me. And I go, oh, apparently, subconsciously, that's what I'm supposed to do. I should do it like that.
You've made the choice for me, so I'm going to go down that lane as opposed to kind of still embracing
As a good collaborator, I'm going to go, okay, that's what I'll do now. Which potentially, for me, could limit what I could do. You know what I mean? Some people have a bit more fortitude and can just, boom, watch it. I'm just soft like that. I can't do it. You know what I mean?
There's nothing soft about you. That soft is the last word I would use to describe Jonathan Major.
Thanks, pal.
All right, talk to me about this. Look, we know there's a lot more of Kang and all the variants to come.
Yeah.
Kang Dynasty, potentially Secret Wars, I don't know. If you and I'm just curious, do you know it all? If you and I are going out for a drink, could you describe the next couple years in the MCU and where Kang fits in?
I think that's one of the straight up, I don't know anything. You know what I mean? I probably know more about Kang Dynasty than everybody on this floor. You know what I mean? Probably.
Okay. Do you know anything about Secret Wars and whether you're involved or not?
I said, yeah, I know I know what's coming to my plate next, and I don't even know the details. I just know that there will be food. You know what I mean?
Look, I feel like every time I talk to you, you're coming off a memorable magazine shoot. I just saw your Ebony cover, which will never leave my brain now, man. How tough is it to get you into that zone of throwing roses at the camera? I don't know what music is playing. I don't know how you get there, but that's kind of a performance in and of itself, I guess, right?
Man, you put on the Maxwell, you put on the D'Angelo, you play the character, you know? You play the character.
There's not enough D'Angelo that could be played for me that would make me do that.
Let's stay tuned. Just wait. Keep living. Yeah, keep living.
Is music important to you to crafting a character? Like, what's on Kang's playlist? Do you listen to certain kinds of music?
It's funny because I went through a phase where I snatched it completely out of my creative process. It became very stoic and very quiet. The preparation for Kang had no music. And then right before we went into production, the music began, which is interesting because you go from being very silent and working on him, and then bam, all of a sudden there's floods of other energies and spirits running through you, you know. And a lot of it was acoustic, you know, when I was prepping for it. But music is helpful. It seems like it's like a weird wooey thing. It's in a book. Sanford Meisner talks about, you know, emotional preparation and the ways to do that. Some of that is to just look at a picture and let that happen. Another way is to, you know, read a poem. The other way was music. And then in my college, in my first drama school, I started using that, you know, and it started working. And maybe placebo, maybe it's real, you know, but I believe it's real. And I've applied it, and it stuck, at least for this little run.
I've been seeing a lot of your work, and it's all impressive and varied, man. I've seen a movie that's going to be coming out presumably later this year called Magazine Dreams. That's just remarkable, and I know we'll dig into that.
Thanks, man.
The word on Creed 3 is great. Do you see a through line in these characters? I mean, those three, at least, seemingly are all, I don't know, they're damaged men. You could say that. Do you see a through line between those three projects?
No, I mean, I think it's a bigger question and probably a longer conversation, but it's in regards to the museum of one's career.
Sure.
There's some pattern recognition there, though the characters aren't the same, you know, but there is a very particular, I'll be able to look at this and go, that's a very particular point in my life. The level of difficulty for those guys was all great.
Right.
And it kept getting more and more and more and more complex, essentially as I matured, you know, within each role. You know, the art changes, it's organic, the instrument changes. And there are reference points to other characters that the body knows as you're playing another character. Yes, they are damaged, they are complex, they're all searching for something, but I think they're all very different men, all from the same instrument, but very different individuals, yeah.
Here's one maybe subconscious connection that you made. You're on a streak of just beating up the sexiest men alive, basically. You're just going through them.
That's true.
Rudd,
that's true.
Michael
That's
B.
True.
Should Chris Evans watch out? Should Dwayne Johnson look out for himself? Is that truly the goal?
You know, I just want to say Idris Elba should have warned them after the Western. He should have said, this guy's coming for us. He's coming for us. Sexy men, he's coming for us. I don't know what we've done. But this kid, no. I guess that is a pattern.
Last thing for you, man. Look, we're ending I guess it's kind of the first 5 years of the big screen career. A lot's happened in these 5 years, and it's a really varied resume you've already established, man. Take a moment to reflect. Give yourself a report card. Is this what you imagined it would be coming out of drama school? What do you have to say about the first 5?
The first 5 is more than I ever could have imagined. I'm glad that I put myself in positions to be around people that could help me grow so that in these last 5 years, I didn't falter in the work and that I could keep the integrity of the training and of the philosophy I have as an artist. It's just the beginning. My competitive nature is pushing me to beat me, you know, which is very Kang, to beat this current version of me. That this guy seems like a stepping stone to whatever is next.